What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Antoine. Now watching the Rip City Rooter. Gonna get right into this. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. So today we're gonna be talking about the Blazers preseason and off-season. Do a little review, get some grades going for the players and how they played for the preseason games going into this 2020-2021 season. Like I said, let's get right into this. So first we're going to start with the off-season moves. The biggest trade, or at least one of the biggest trades of the off-season, was for Robert Covington coming to the Blazers. But I'm not mad at losing Trevor Ariza for Robert Covington. They both considered those 3-and-D players. Kind of like Robert Covington, a little bit better than Ariza. Ariza's getting towards the end of his career. Robert Covington's still young. I think he's like 23 or something like that. So he got a long career ahead of him as Trevor Ariza's getting towards the end. We also signed Derrick Jones Jr. in the offseason as a free agent. I think like 2 years for like $19 million or something like that. Coming from Miami. Y'all might know him as like the dunk contest champion last year. Super athletic, Clyde the Guy Drexler. I mean, you can put it in the air with him, but hopefully he gives us some good highlights. He's also a decent defender as well. With Rocco and Jones Jr. brings us some of that defense that we was missing last year. But the good thing is, from last year, we did re-sign Rodney Hood and also re-sign Melo. So those was two huge re-signings for the Blazers. And we also signed Harry Giles III, coming out of Sacramento. We actually drafted him a couple years ago. He had some injury issues, so hopefully he'll run into that this year. But I'm excited. I mean, coming off the bench, he's super athletic. He's a great passer, great defender. So we'll see how he shows out. And we'll get to that in a little bit, how he played in preseason, which was pretty good. Also got Enes Kanter, who helped us go to the Western Conference Finals a couple years ago as well. Enes Kanter was coming off the bench in Boston. Looks like he'll be doing the same thing, coming off the bench behind Nurk. But I'm not mad. Enes Kanter has got great energy. Not that great of a defender, but he got the offense to back it up. He can score the ball, which is huge, and his offensive rebounding is huge as well for us. And last but not least, we drafted C.J. Ellaby with the number 46th pick, coming out of Washington. Decent wing player, likes to shoot the ball. I think he tied or passed Klay Thompson or something, or was just right there with him when it comes to his college record for three-pointers made. So definitely a shooter, so hopefully he can show that in the league, but we'll see. So next, what we're going to get into is the preseason stats. We'll go over some of the stats and then we'll go over the grades. When it comes to the preseason games, now the first preseason game had me so excited, had a lot of light, had a lot of talent being showed, but kind of fell off from there. We went 0-3 for the next 3 games. The next game against Sacramento, they came back, they exposed our defense, and then Denver definitely exposed our defense in them last 2 games. Now, they're trying these new defensive schemes with Terry Stotts, so, I mean, they still meshing together, trying to figure out things on both ends, not just the defensive end, but the offensive end as well. And it showed that they got to work on that a little bit. So starting with some of the stats. When it comes to minutes, Gary Trent Jr. led the team in minutes, coming off the bench actually, but he showed that he deserved those minutes, especially playing in the bubble last year, and how good he's been pretty consistent. I know he's a decent defender as well. So Gary Trent Jr., he played 29 minutes a game, which is a huge jump from what he was playing last year. But like I said, this is preseason. I mean, of course, that probably will change in the regular season, but it showed. I mean, he scored 14.8 points a game, put up almost 2 rebounds, almost 2 assists a game, got 1 steal a game. At 29 minutes a game, he probably could have scored a little bit more, but Can't be mad at that. CJ McCollum, who was actually our leading scorer, played 23 minutes a game, scored 17.5 points per game. So, I mean, for Gary Trent, it still looks like he's going to be coming off the bench behind CJ McCollum. But it looks like he is going to be getting some more minutes. Probably going to be playing a lot of the 2 when CJ is playing the 1 when Dame is on the bench. Who else we're going to get to is Anthony Simons. He only played that first game, and it looked like he got hurt in that first game, and he didn't play any more games after that. So with that one game, he played about 8 minutes that game, scored 3 points, hit a 3-pointer. He was 1 for 3, so he scored about 33%. When it comes to grading Ant Simons, can't really give him a grade. I mean, personally, from watching the games, it looked like he slows the game down a little bit, which is not always a good thing. I mean, sometimes it can be a good thing to have patience to slow down the game, but Anthony Simons chooses the wrong times, for me personally, to slow the game down. That's just his playing style. He kind of gets the ball, kind of hesitates, and you know, he played a lot of ISO ball, so for him to be our backup point guard, supposedly, as Neil O'Shea said, he's still kind of weak at that spot. I do like CJ as our backup point guard, even though he's a starter, but you know how that rotation works. If you're a Blazer fan and you watch the games and you see how Terry Stotts works that point guard position, that's pretty much why we don't really have a true point guard for our backup. Now, grades when it comes to Ant Simons, I'm gonna give him a C, just because I didn't get to see enough, you know. But we'll see. He should be coming back for the regular season. We had a new pickup, Keldon Blevins, which I forgot to bring that up in the beginning of the video. It's actually Dame's cousin, probably the last man on our roster. He played a little bit. Averaged out about 12 minutes a game. So at 12 minutes a game, he only scored 3 points a game. So, I mean, not that great. 2 rebounds. I mean, we would just have to see more. Definitely end of the rotation player. But welcome to the Blazers. Welcome to Rip City, Keldon. So, when it comes to minutes, I'm going to just start by the lowest minutes, give him the grades. Now, Rodney Hood averaged 13 minutes in the preseason. He did only play the last 3 games. But I like what I see from Rodney. For him to be out for so long, he showed that he still got it. Also scored 3 points a game, but he had 3 assists a game, which shows, you know, definitely a big role player for the Blazers here. So when it comes to Rodney Hood, coming off that injury, playing only 13 minutes a game, I give him a B, maybe a B plus, just on the upside that. We can continue to see improvement with him. Hopefully we get him back into the starting lineup, because he's a huge piece when he's in that Western Conference Finals as well. Then surprisingly, Melo's coming off the bench this year. He scored he only played 17.5 minutes per game. He did get ejected one game, so that did cut his minutes down a little bit. But in that first game, he had like 21 points coming off the bench. So Melo's huge, man. Definitely, you know, he's always clutch. Shooting better. I feel like he's actually shooting from 3 pretty good. So he had 11.2 points per game coming off the bench, 2.5 rebounds, just right at about 1 assist a game. So Melo's huge coming off the bench. He's going to be running that second unit according to Terry Stotts. Next we got Jusuf Nurkic, also coming off an injury from last year. Played in the bubble a little bit. Wasn't really game ready. You could tell he was a little rusty on his shot and the continuity with the other players. But Jusuf Nurkic is, as you know, if you're a Blazer fan, that he's huge for the Blazers, huge for Rip City. He played 18 minutes a game, but he's only scored 5 points a game, which I feel like he could do better than that. He did get 6 boards and close to 3 assists. He got a steal a game and almost 1 block a game. So Nurk being Nurk, filling up that stat sheet, not so much on the scoring end, but I think that's definitely going to come. So grading those 2 players, Melo, I'm going to give Melo a B coming off the bench. He been balling. Nurkic, I'm going to give him a C, got some improvement. Man, I'll give him maybe a B, a C plus. Got some improvement to do when it comes to meshing with the team and everything still. Enes Kanter played 19, almost 20 minutes a game and scored 9 points a game, 7 rebounds, and almost 1 block a game. So for Enes Kanter to come off the bench, filling in that void where we didn't really have a backup center last year, plays with a lot of energy, which we love that. Him and Dame mesh pretty good. Now, for grade, I give him a B minus. B minus. He looked a little lost sometimes, but I feel like I said, once the continuity and the chemistry of the team comes together, then we'll be good to go. Next, we got Harry Giles. Average 21 minutes a game, 10.8 points a game, 9 rebounds, 1.5 assists, 1.5 steals, and almost 1 block a game. Now, when it comes to Harry Giles, he was balling in that Sacramento series, especially that first game. He had like 18 points off the bench. Huge. Now, when it comes to grading Harry Giles, I'm going to give Harry Giles probably an A. A minus. Huge off the bench. Now, I'm not sure how they're going to do that with the rotation with Nurk, Harry Giles III, and Enes Kanter. He did show some potential in being able to spread the floor and shoot some threes. He made a few threes in some of them preseason games as well. So that was good to see as well. Next, we got Dame. Dame played 21 minutes a game, almost 22 minutes a game. Scored only 10.7 points per game. I think he was more kind of getting a feel of the team and the other players and trying to see what he could do instead of just always scoring. But, I can't just say that because he did kind of shoot bad in the first game or two. And then he set out one of those games against Denver. He did get 2 boards, 3.3 assists, and 1.3 steals. Now, like they said, preseason don't really count. And looking at those stats, I would probably give Dame an F, but I'm gonna say let's give him a C just because we know what Dame can do. And I think he was just kind of working the offense and the defensive schemes, trying to get used to that as well. Plus, I think they was trying to let some of the other players get some minutes in, and so he was being subbed out here and there a lot. But it's Dame. He gonna lead the team, so I should give him A plus just for being Dame. But anyway, we're gonna keep it moving. CJ Ellaby, the rookie that we drafted this year, he played 22.5 minutes a game. He only scored 3.5 points per game, 2.5 rebounds, 1 assist, a half a steal a game. Coming to CJ Ellaby, it looked like he shows some potential, but he also looks a little lost out there. But he is a rookie. I feel like that's going to come along. Same way with Ant Simons. He kind of looked lost out there when he was a rookie, and wasn't too happy about that, but he had a stroke. And now this is what CJ Ellaby was kind of being known for, a shooter, and he wasn't cutting it. He wasn't shooting great. He was driving the ball, but when it comes to being a shooter off the bench, I don't think that he lived up to that hype. So when it comes to giving a grade to CJ Ellaby, sorry, son, but I'm gonna have to give you a D. Maybe I'll say a D plus. But you didn't play great, man. For playing that many minutes, you should have been scoring more than 3.5 points a game. When it comes to CJ McCollum, he was playing 23.4 minutes a game. He led the team with 17.5 points a game. 2.5 rebounds, 2.8 assists a game, and 1.2 steals per game. Now, when it comes to CJ, I'm gonna give him a grade of a B-, only because I know what CJ can do. Definitely 17.5 ain't gonna cut it leading the team and scoring at 17.5 per game. So I mean, CJ, you gotta step it up, man. I mean, I see you out there doing work and everything, but you're gonna have to step it up, man. Especially when Dame ain't there. We need you. Derrick Jones Jr., the new acquisition from Miami, played 24.2 minutes per game, had 11.2 points per game, 3.8 rebounds, 1.5 assists, and almost a steal and almost a block a game. Definitely needs his length. He actually showed that he can spread the floor and shoot the three, which he got a bad rap for when he came to Portland. So that was good to see that he could actually spread the floor, and his athleticism is crazy. Hopefully, man, he don't run into any injuries this year, because I feel like he's a great piece for our team, and that we do need him. But decent scoring. I mean, 11 points per game. I mean, as a probably fourth option, I think he showed that he can put some points on the board, which is good. So Derrick Jones Jr., we're gonna go ahead and give him a B for showing some good potential for our team. Robert Covington, 26.8 minutes a game, scored 10.2 points a game, 5.2 rebounds, 1.2 assists, and 1.5 steals a game and a half a block a game. When it comes to the defense, his numbers doesn't really show, but you can tell he's definitely a leader on our team when it comes to the defense. He actually would feel like he was scoring more than that for some reason, but I guess 10 points a game is what his stats is. Now that probably a jump up in the regular season, especially once the team gets meshed, because I see that he's a huge part of what we got going on in our offense, and of course in our defensive scheme as well. So Robert Covington, I'm gonna also give you a B. I'm gonna give you a B+, even with the stats not really showing the potential that you showed on the court. And last but not least, Gary Trent Jr., 14.8 points a game, 1.8 rebounds, 1.8 assists, 1 steal a game. Gary Trent Jr., probably Blazers MVP. I mean, he wasn't the leading scorer, but he was right behind CJ with 14.8 points a game. Dog on defense, like always. Showed that he has improved on the offense with handling the ball, and he might have to run that point guard spot, that backup point guard spot a little more as well. But I still don't feel like he all the way comfortable with playing point guard. I can tell he don't really like to bring the ball up the court and run the offense as a point guard. He's more of a catch and shoot or ISO off the dribble type player. Kind of remind me of a young CJ. Definitely coming off the bench, I'm gonna give Gary Trent Jr. A-. Now, when it comes to the coaching staff, Terry Stotts, I mean, I'm not sure about this defensive schemes that you got going on. Maybe you should add more or mix it up a little bit, or maybe even start man-to-man for most of the game and come in with that defensive scheme, parts of the game where it's required that we switch it up. But we was definitely getting exposed on our defense, especially with Denver. I mean, if you got shooters, looks like with shooters and good ball movement, it's not working too well. Maybe it's just because it needs a little bit more time for the team to build that chemistry on the defensive end, but that's far-fetched. I mean, I think that the Blazers really should go back to man-to-man. I mean, Dame and CJ getting knocked for their defense, but they actually not too bad at defenders. Definitely been making some improvement. And then we got these defensive players that we brought in, which I think will show even better in the man-to-man defense coverage than the type of zone switch defense that we got going now. But anyway, that left the Blazers in a 24th spot in the league with 1-3. It wasn't as good as what everybody was hoping for with bringing in Derrick Jones Jr. and Robert Covington, but it is what it is. Just looking forward to this regular season to get started and see how we do then. So hopefully we get off to a good start. Well, that's all from me, folks. Thank y'all for tuning in. Like I said, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. Rip City Rooter out.